Hi, welcome to the Wired.
And Rewired podcast, a podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the Force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we are covering Season 5, Episode 3, Not For Attribution, and as always we begin by popping a recap. Carcetti's master plan for the police department is leaked to the press, sending the brass into a panic. Marlo turns to Proposition Joe to help with an enviable problem. Whiting and Klebanow drop a bombshell on the newspaper staff. Michael finds temporary respite from his life on the corner by taking Dookie and Bug on a trip. McNulty shares some inside info with Alma, but her subsequent story doesn't cause the splash either envisioned. Undaunted, McNulty looks for a new ally in Freeman. The episode was written by Chris Collins, and it was co-directed by Scott and Joy Kekin. And it premiered on January 20th, 2008. You know, I didn't spend any time, unfortunately, thinking about how the two directors might have played differently throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, if you listener have something to note about that, please do let us know where you notice some differences. But otherwise, Ellie, why don't you kick it off by busting out that epigraph?
They're dead where it doesn't count, said by Mike Fletcher.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even have a funny quote for the quip for this. Okay, well,
depressing.
It is pretty depressing. And it's interesting how, of course, like they look at it, the paper looks at it a lot the same way that the police did.
Sure.
So, and we'll get to that in a minute. All right, before we get into your predictions, I did want to mention one other thing. And a very important user, Prolific5 on YouTube, he mentioned that after listening to episode 1, and we gave the stats about our listener base.
Yeah.
He is listening from Jamaica. So we have somebody from Jamaica. So that's
really awesome.
Prolific, that is where I spent my honeymoon.
Oh, really?
You know,
Did I know that?
Probably.
Okay.
But
you probably mentioned it before.
Mentioned it in passing. So beautiful place. Love going down there. It was so much fun. So thank you for listening, Prolific, as always. And thank you for letting us know where you're from. If we missed you, then please do let us know you're out there listening and where you're listening from. But in any case. All right. Well, let us get into your predictions.
Okay.
I'm going to keep a couple going. Bubbles will get up the stairs, is what you said after episode 1.
Okay.
So we'll just keep that going, just because there was no Bubbles in this episode at all. So you did say Bubbles will speak, but we'll look for other ways to step up first.
Yes.
So nothing to see there.
Hopefully something there.
So not wrong, but also no evidence otherwise.
Right.
Davis is going to turn.
No, he's still fighting.
Yeah. Vondis is going to agree to work with Marlo. No, he turned him away.
He turned him away. Yeah. I think there's still something there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll just you got four to keep going.
Okay.
And then, of course, I'm
looking at the long game.
And then Ellie just nails 4 in a row. Templeton will make up another article. Bang on the money.
Okay.
Well done there. Jimmy is going to stage another scene. Bang again. Yes. Now, although interestingly, it wasn't a new murder, but it was old. So I'm giving you credit.
Okay. Thank you.
Freeman and McNulty will not find any other headway. Got that right.
Yeah.
And then finally, Omar coming out of retirement. Ugh. And you said find or either through Kimmy or Butchie.
I did.
So yep, that was
God.
Brutal. Another brutal scene. So yeah. But that's basically it. No references, nothing really from all the pieces of matter they haven't already covered, and no commentary this time. So unless there's any initial thoughts, we can get going.
All right. Well, my initial thoughts were, there's things I love about this episode and some things I really hate about it.
Oh, yeah.
Six Flags, love. Mm-hmm. Everything else, hate. Okay, so I've got the Red Ribbon Ripper.
Okay.
So that's with Homicide here in McNulty. No One Lives Forever. That's our look into politics. Bury the Lead. That's our look at the Sun, the Baltimore Sun. Day all day. Looking at some grand jury cases. Civilized Mother-effers. So this is where we're going to look at Marlo and Michael and Dookie and Prop Joe. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the Red Ribbon Ripper. I can't even say this.
Okay.
So we start with McNulty at the beginning of the episode. He is sitting, I think it's an interrogation room, and he is going through some old cases. He looks exhausted, and we can tell that he's looking at some homeless people who have passed who are homeless. You see one guy like that. Okay. The people who have to, first off, like the people who are, posing as these homeless people, the guy with his pants down, the guy who's like naked in the morgue with his penis
Yep.
sticking out. Like, okay, just hats off to these people.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to take a moment to appreciate them for just being those characters.
Sure.
Because he's got to do it. And hats off to you people.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. There you go. I just wanted to say that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's funny you mention that because in the commentary, Clark Johnson admired quite a lot the guy with the laying naked on the morgue table.
Well,
He's like, my God, that guy.
That
just
was
to sit
impressive.
there completely naked.
Yes,
yeah.
we did not talk about it at all.
No.
And I thought, too, that was really quite impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, so, he's still wearing the same shirt that he was wearing when he, strangled that last body to fake that murder. And so he's flipping through these photos and he sees then that one of these victims has a red ribbon tied around his wrist. So he notes that and we see that look of intrigue on his face and you're like, uh-oh, okay, what does that mean? We go out to the squad room. It's kind of dark in there and there are some people who are working, but they're like half asleep. And somebody's typing on there. Somebody says to, stop typing so loudly. They all want to sleep. And Bunk comes in early in the morning, 4:30 a.m. And he finds out that McNulty has been there all night. He's never left. And he wants to know what he's thinking. And McNulty tells him what he's been up to. He has been reviewing 5 years of the deaths of these homeless people, and he thinks that he can link them to this fake strangling that he has staged. So he is trying to create a serial killer out of thin air. Bunk is just aghast. Like his face when he is horrified is fabulous. Like his eyes are big, his mouth is big, just the look on his face is fabulous. I love it. He tells McNulty, you're going to go to jail for this. You know what they do with pretty police like you in jail. He says, we got kids. You got a car payment. I just got patio furniture. Right? Have we heard that before? Is that what Prez said too? I have patio.
Very good.
Like,
Yeah.
what is that? That's like the mark of like I don't do any shenanigans anymore. Having patio furniture.
I guess it must mean that you reach a level of maturity.
I guess so.
You sit out on the patio. And
now you have places to
your
sit even
afternoons, I guess.
outside.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
just
exactly.
Inside, but outside.
You're not living in some, high rise.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes. McNulty takes another swig of his alcohol, his little drink bottle that he has in his pocket. And he says, hey, this department only cares about stats and clearance rates. They do not care about real justice. And Bunk says, look, Marlo is not worth this. This is, who cares about him? He's not worth this. And nobody is worth this. He's an asshole. And, McNulty does this thing that he has done before. He doesn't get to win. We get to win. What he really means is I get to win, right? And so, he says it's not fair, basically, that these are murders. Yes, they are ghetto murders, but still, it's, I came out of the Western because they told me that we would be working these murders and they're going to keep that promise. And so we are going to keep on working these vacant house murders and we're not going to let the budget cuts kill it. Bunk says that he's going to tell Landsman. He's going to, he's going to tell on him. He's going to rat him out. And McNulty says, do what you got to do.
Yep.
It's fine. Bunk relents. He says, well, I don't want my name anywhere on this.
Yeah.
And he's about to leave. And McNulty says, hey, Bunk. And he wants his alcohol again.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That's that scene.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yuck.
Think again about what the fuck you're doing. Bunk, this can work. It can. Fuck you. I mean that. Oh, Jimmy, 4 in the fucking morning? Oh, so it is. All of these, homeless murders from the last 5 years. Everything before that is on microfilm, but we got enough right here. Jimmy. Most of it open. We don't do so well with homeless killings.
transient locales, no nearest, no dearest, no one who gives a fuck. Cases stay open forever.
You're going to jail behind this shit. Yes, you are. You know what they do to police in jail? Pretty police like yourself? Motherfucker, we have kids, houses, car payments, furniture. Jimmy, I just bought brand new lawn chairs and a glass patio table. Now, you don't buy no shit like that if you planning to lose your job and go to prison. You won't even get past the ME.
Watch me.
You're dumping murders on us that we can't solve. You're fucking the squad's clearance rate.
Oh, fuck the fucking numbers already. The fucking numbers destroyed this fucking department. Landsman and his clearance rate can suck a hairy asshole.
Marlo ain't worth it, man. Nobody is.
Marlo's an asshole. He does not get to win. We get to win. This case doesn't go away just because the bosses can't find the money to pay for it. These are fucking murders. Ghetto murders, but still. I came back out of the Western to work this case because they said it would be worked. I came back out on a promise, and they're gonna keep that promise. Whether they know it or not.
I'm gonna tell Landsman. Yeah, you keep on with it, I'm gonna rat you out.
Well, you do what you gotta do.
My name is nowhere in the file. I don't want fuck to do with this.
Yeah, so a couple of callbacks here that I thought are important. First off, Type Quieter is what Ray Cole, a.k.a. Bob Colesbury, who McNulty references when he calls him Brother Ray. He says that to McNulty in the first episode.
Oh, my gosh.
And he says, Type Quieter.
You are right.
I am pretty sure that the person who says Type Quieter, his name is Don Warden, who was actually referenced by McNulty as a police officer who could bring it home. And he was talking about, like, we're good at this in season 3. That's the police officer he was talking about. And Don Warden was one of the police officers that David Simon knew from his reporting when he was reporting homicide.
Is that right?
So that's a little cameo from Don Warden there.
Wow.
So a couple other little notes. So you're right. He's wearing the same shirt. And it just reminded me of Kima's comment to him about same shirt as yesterday because of the lady he took home.
Yes.
And so it's just interesting that he, whether it's sex or casework, or though either is filling this hole in his soul, I guess.
Right.
And so I just kind of that's kind of interesting. Of course, this is sort of done with more virtuous intent, I suppose.
Right.
So although despite the fact that it's completely unethical,
Yeah.
And then I think I just have to mention, he says ghetto murders, but still, which is one of those comments that you hear. But, and then I'm kind of reminded of what he said in the second episode of season 1, where he says, I'm a murder police.
Yeah.
And he cares about solving murders. Now, whether he thinks of we get to win, this is where I feel like it's not quite the way Carver said it in season 3. So, and I've told you this before, but I'll say again, like they're just callbacks all over the place in season 5, which I like, because it just kind of, it's a little reminder of where you've been. But you remember Carver standing on the car and he's like, you do not get to win.
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
But that was about a drug charge and it felt less important. Whereas I feel like for McNulty, the idea of somebody getting away with murder is he just can't. He is willing to break every rule in order to solve the problem, which of course we knew already. So so just that part's kind of interesting. And then, but nevertheless, like as you said, like the Jameson helps him to dull the pain of what he's going through. So I think he still feels conflicted. But not enough that a little alcohol can't get him over the edge. So So
it's weird to me that like it is so wrong to murder somebody, but to defile a murdered person or a dead person's corpse is, I don't know, like it's a fine means to his end. It's just, it's just like in one case, the sanctity of life is, you have a place for it, but then like, I don't know how to square this. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. If I hear you correctly, or if I'm kind of interpreting it, it's even though the person is dead, you still you still want to give them some humanity.
Exactly.
And using their corpse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's such a departure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, I don't know. And for him, it's just that's the balance, right?
Right.
He just, the alcohol or whatever, like he's motivated enough to go past that and doesn't care anymore about that particular side of things.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas interestingly, as you said, whereas the victim normally he's fighting for the victim, and now he's using the victim, although there is no victim in this case, really.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, like you're using a dead person after they've died for your own personal benefit or purposes or whatever. Yeah. I can see that, and I think that I'm very curious to see how you respond later when we get into this other conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So McNulty keeps on digging through files. He, as you mentioned, he finds an old case that was worked by the late Ray Cole.
Yep.
And he later goes to a drugstore, and we see him trying to match up the red ribbon. And with this, Gutierrez, Alma is there as well. She's looking for the newspaper. So there's a period where what's going on with McNulty and what's going on with her are played off of each other. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But anyways, he's taking the ribbon back. He kind of ties it. He sort of tries to dirty it up by stepping on it and rubbing it under a shoe and wrinkling it up. And then he slips it into Cole's old file, and he types up a report that links the cases and leaves copies for Landsman and Bunk. All right. Bunk sees this again. The whole time Bunk is just like watching him, looking at the side, like we see his face, down the hallway, and he just looks beside himself with what McNulty is going through here, or as putting him through. And this is where he says to come to his office. His office is just like a little holding interrogation room. And, McNulty points out, look, Greg's is right now working a triple homicide alone. This is 12 hours after it happened. She should not be doing that. And this is just proof that the system is broken. Yeah. Right? Bunk says, look, it's not the same thing. It's not enough justification for what you're doing. And McNulty explains to him what his plan is, that he's going to plant this ribbon on the body. Well, he says that, he tells him, okay, look, I found the person, the homeless person with the ribbon on their body. Then the one with Cole's report, I said that there was a ribbon there. He says, oh, well, we don't even have a ribbon. He's like, well, we're going to.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the morgue, to the body. He's going to put a ribbon on that body. And this is where Bunk is like, you are out of your freaking mind.
Right.
This is way past any shit you ever pulled in your life, Jimmy. Think on it.
You see Greg's out there bagging evidence alone, then going back out to recanvass on a triple. A triple fucking murder, a home invasion. And she's working it alone. They pulled Crutchfield this morning, put him back in the rotation.
That's on them, but you can't come...
Fucking right, that's on them. A triple murder, and 12 hours later they leave one detective alone on it? I guess she's lucky she has a car.
This shit won't work.
Well, then we're no worse than before. Extra red name or two on the board.
Yeah, unless you got caught.
When this fucking unit's gonna catch me? Most of the guys up here couldn't catch the clap in a Mexican whorehouse.
What's with the red ribbon?
Marlo had a open strangle a few years back. Homeless guy with a red ribbon tied around his wrist. So that's two. Also, I found an open homeless case, which Ray Cole worked. I wrote a ribbon into his office reports. So there's three.
Our guy didn't have a red ribbon.
That's where I'm headed.
Jesus. Listen to yourself.
Upstairs wouldn't jump on a real serial killer. Fucking Marlo, who's got bodies all over him. Well, maybe they need the make-believe.
Yeah, maybe you're the asshole who just lost his fucking mind. Yeah, I'm locked in the box. It's no joke. Let me out.
fuck you?
He tried. But mostly he just fucks himself.
So yeah. Now with this is where I'll kind of go in to talk about what's going on with Alma, because, and I'll talk about Alma later, but I was curious what you thought about like how they played off the two things, like how he's kind of like processing the ribbon and processing what is trying to manufacture this scene with her looking for the newspaper and the processing of the papers. Like, did that, I just didn't like, usually when they do that, there's some kind of, I don't know, there's like something more related between the two things that are happening at the same time, but I didn't really see any relation except that they're both just doing these things at early hours in the morning.
Yeah. You know what, to be honest, it did not even register with me. So I get your point. I think it was probably just a way for them to break up the story.
Yeah, they've used the strategy before, but before, like I've seen it, there's been like more interplay between the two storylines, and here it didn't seem like it to me. Yeah,
I can't really think of any connection.
I'm just glad I wasn't missing anything that was like really obvious.
I don't think so. No, I mean, they're just digging, just the concept of like digging and, going out. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you want to say anything before I go to the morgue?
I guess the only, just the connection maybe that's worth noting is that she got up thinking that a triple murder was important enough to get front page coverage.
Right.
And so that I think is all there is.
Yeah.
But I'm reaching there. So
yeah.
So
okay.
So just, what do you think of how did the scheme strike you with the ribbons?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't have strong feelings about it either way.
Okay.
Yeah, about it being like a strong signature for a serial killer or something like that. Is that what you mean?
No, just the way when McNulty lays it out.
Yeah.
Did it feel, that it passed a sniff test for you or whatever? Okay.
I would say it passes a sniff test.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And then of course, like adding bodies to the board is just another comment where, and I think, for it is interesting to think about. I've told you this before.
Yeah.
About the gun trace task force. It wasn't about adding murders. It was about adding these other crimes that they could then prosecute.
Yes.
The notion of adding a murder just would not make any sense because they're essentially, I hate saying it this way, but there's no money in it for anybody really. Whereas like in this case, that's where the money, so to speak, is for paying out to do actual police work. So that's interesting. And then of course Crutchfield's line when he walks in, he tried to fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm reaching, but it reminded me a little bit of the conversation that Bunk and McNulty had in the bar when he said, when it was time for you to fuck me, you were very gentle.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
So Bunk's response was, no, he just mostly fucks himself.
Yes,
just such a good line. So yeah.
Yes. No, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see here.
So now you're going to the morgue.
Okay, so we're going to the morgue. Yes, so we're at the morgue. McNulty distracts the medical examiner and ends up sneaking in to be alone and pulls the ribbon out, ties it around the dead man's wrist. He also looks to make sure that all the bruising and the petechial hemorrhaging look convincing around his eyes. And as he's talking to the examiner, he, is bringing up these things that make that examiner rule toward a homicide, right? Like saying that there were witnesses that heard signs of a struggle. And I can't remember. I think there was something else too that he points out that, he does point out the red ribbon and she's like, oh yeah, I can't believe my investigator missed that on the first one.
Yeah.
And so she says, yeah, it's a strangulation. Good work. And he does this smug, little self-satisfied grin, which is so annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
he got what he wanted.
No, exactly, and I mean, I think that it's one of those. It's one of those moments you kind of think that if you even know how to make dotted connections, you can paint a pretty good picture for people.
Yep.
Generally speaking, so that Emmy is doing the job. Even she commented how her medical examiner missed it, as you said. And yet that was not enough to dissuade her to question it.
Right.
It's like all these other things.
Right.
Oh, you're telling me that you heard there are witnesses that heard a struggle and there are signs of a struggle. Then, I'm willing to acknowledge that my examiner might have missed the.
Yeah, well, he gives her, and he's like, "Oh, it was high up on the wrist,"
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's probably why it happened.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see here. McNulty goes back to the unit, and he is loudly hinting about how his medical examiner has saying that this is a murder, and hinting about the red ribbon around his wrist, and he was homeless. Oh, what is it? What's a homeless guy have to remember? And he's doing this right next to this character Barlow, and hoping Barlow will care. And then Barlow just rips a huge fart. It's so terrible. And Bugs just tells him nice out. And I think he makes some kind of a mention of, well, Chanel number 5 doesn't come out of your ass or something like that.
Exactly. Yep.
Anyhow, so have we seen Barlow before?
Yeah,
we have. Okay,
yeah. He was.
don't remember him really.
He did not get our killer cameo from episode 1.
Okay,
but he was in the very first episode in court, or with D'Angelo's case. So he's on the phone with somebody about talking about pressure treated wood, and then he says,
my God.
"Can you hear that? That's my dick in your ear." And for example, that was one thing. And then he says to Stringer as Stringer's walking out of court after D'Angelo's acquitted, "You think I give a fuck? I'm going to be chalking you off."
Yes.
And I mean, so just a line.
Okay.
And so he is one of my favorite characters. He appears in 2 scenes.
Okay,
He's
that's
so
our
great.
Barlow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay, well, it's funny that he was talking about pressure treated wood before, because he ends up calling his wife and is asking about the wood stain and how it dried.
Right.
And this is when McNulty is trying again to hint about this red ribbon. And again, he's just not taking this bait. He does not notice. He does not care. And McNulty just can't believe it.
Yeah. Yep. So you got that. So the actor's name is Michael Stone Forrest.
Okay.
Oh, I just love him. And he is reading Generation Kill by Evan Wright, which is the book that David Simon's miniseries is based off of.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
so it is a great read. It is incredibly depressing. And Evan Wright, unfortunately, died by suicide a couple of years ago. So I'm guessing that even as a reporter, embedded reporter, the sites that he saw were too much.
Oh,
so it's
that's
a real shame. But his work lives on, and I highly recommend, if you haven't read Generation Kill, everybody should read it.
Okay.
So, all right, sorry, that's it.
Okay, let me see here. So McNulty tells Bunk, about, he's frustrated. These guys don't care. And he says, let's go out drinking. And Bunk says, you think I'm going drinking with you? Heck no.
Yeah.
And he tells him to go home. He says, I'm not going home. I'm working a serial killer case. And so he doesn't go home, but he doesn't work the case. He goes out drinking, and he comes out of the bathroom, and then he goes over and he starts hooking up with this lady. And they're all getting fresh with each other. And later on, there's a patrol going around, and they flash their lights on a couple that is mid-coitus outside over the hood of a car. And it is McNulty. And what does he do? He flashes his badge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, those detectives, they think they're so hot. What I love too is that, like, they put the lights on, he reaches down, he grabs his badge, and then they're like about to leave, and then she just like reaches around so that he'll keep on going.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It's amazing. No shame at all.
I mean, yeah, I just I don't.
Wow.
It's one of those things where there's what's not glorification, but sometimes Hollywood can make sex scenes just so incredibly unrealistic. And I'm sorry, like, McNulty is already drunk.
Yeah.
And then he gets interrupted by a police car. Like, I'm sorry, buddy, he is not keeping his erection.
Yeah,
like,
right?
I mean,
how?
Come on.
Like,
yeah.
that doesn't seem realistic.
I'm, and her, like, what, she just like just wants him to keep going.
I know.
That
What-
again. I
yeah,
don't
how are
understand
you
it,
getting
know?
anything out of that?
I mean, of course, like people are going to be writing and be like, "Man, Chris, you have not lived," which
Yeah,
is true.
okay, well,
I certainly have
sure.
not
I
had
mean,
sex
some
outside on
people
the
are
hood of a car. But
very voyeuristic. I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah, I suppose
Or
that's true.
exhibitionist? No, that's
No, that's it. Yeah,
exhibitionist.
exhibitionist. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Oy, ay, ay.
I just thought an interesting note was when McNulty takes a beat to look at himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
There is something really interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're really overselling it. I don't think so. They didn't hold it too long
Yep.
to make a meal of it, but it is interesting. He,
Yeah.
is just now essentially betraying everything that he probably ever really
Right.
held dear. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not the first time we've had that mirror look. We had Dennis do it,
Right.
once.
Yes, right.
Like when
Yeah.
he was going to do the pee swap.
Right. Very good.
Okay. So let's see here. The next day, he's trying with the red ribbon thing again, trying to get Bunk to help him out here. What kind of knot would you say was on that red ribbon?
A Baltimore knot.
I know. Buck's like, fuck you with your red ribbon.
Yeah.
And then finally, Barlow catches on. He remembers a homeless person that he had who had a red ribbon tied around their wrist. Okay, great. Okay, so they take it to Landsman, or he takes it to Landsman. Landsman's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Madman on the loose, huh?
3 linked cases and counting.
He's killing vagrants, is he?
Don't say I didn't warn you. Who covers us for the Sun papers nowadays? Twig?
Yeah, him or this new girl, Alma something.
He shrugs it off. And since he is not taking this very seriously, McNulty goes to Alma, to Gutierrez at the Sun, and they meet up, and he feeds her the story. He is flirting with her the whole time too, and trying to make her feel good and important. She does say that she has a detective, or has a boyfriend detective.
Right.
Is he bigger than me?
Yeah.
And anyway, so this is him trying to get more attention on this whole case. Still trying to get that money into the police department.
Yep.
How do you know they're connected? Is there DNA evidence or a signature?
Can't release that yet. Copycats.
So there is a signature. What?
You're good. You're new, right?
5 months. I worked at the Sun Sentinel in Lauderdale before this.
I've read your stories. They're good.
Bullshit. But thanks.
You're gonna run something right away, right? Gotta get the word out on this. What kind of name is Alma?
I have a boyfriend, detective.
Yeah. He bigger than me?
You'll feel that, that whatever's missing,
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So just a little note. Well, first of all, Landsman, once again, so gross.
Yes.
Just the jerk off motion. Just
Oh my God,
brutal.
I know, seriously.
The place that they go have lunch is called Al Pacino's, believe it or not.
Okay.
It's a pizza place on Ricerstown Road. So it's an actual place that they
Oh.
mention anyway. So whether
Okay.
they actually shot there or something else. But yeah, and then just Jimmy's comment of he bigger than he doesn't take the rejection.
I know, seriously.
lying down. He's like, oh well, let's talk about
He thinks he's some
and
hot
I
shit.
just have to ask: is his boyfriend being bigger than McNulty? Is that some kind of indication of anything? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's just McNulty being a dog, and
It's him being a dog.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty classy.
Yeah,
Pretty
sure.
classy guy. Okay, shall I continue?
yeah, keep going.
Okay. So the story does run, but it is totally buried in the metro section. Sorry.
Yep.
So McNulty is very annoyed by that, and Landsman puts him in the rotation. And Bunk says, okay, are you done now? Have you had your fun? Okay, you done with this? And McNulty says, nope.
Yeah,
I am not even close to done.
yeah.
Look here. Back in the girdle ads, underneath the story about the school board approving a name change for PS 114. It's Jimmy McNulty's Ripper. You know why they call him homeless, Jimmy? Because they ain't got a pot to piss in. And you know why they ain't got a pot? Because nobody gives a good fuck. Shake it for another day or two, and then you're back in the rotation.
You done with this stupid shit? Who the fuck do you need to hear from, Jimmy?
And what's he gonna do? He's gonna bring in Freeman. So I did not expect this.
Okay, yeah, this is what I was wondering.
I did not expect Freeman to get roped in on this, and I did not expect Freeman to go along with it.
Okay, yeah, and of course they kind of slow rolled it too.
Yes, they
right?
did.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that he would. So, you know, what happens is McNulty explains what he's trying to do, and Freeman kind of just like, he thinks for a moment, and then he like sees the opportunity, and he says, okay, hold on a second. You actually have to make it bigger. You
Right.
have to give the killer a motive, maybe give them a nickname. And Bunk, again, we get disgusted face Bunk, who just cannot believe that they are going with this. He walks out, and Freeman and McNulty realize that they are going to need another body to make this thing happen.
So you string together Barlow's murder and Cole's unconnected case and yours, which is natural to begin with.
Instant serial killer. Which I thought would get the brass to begin kicking out some money to work real cases.
Like Marlo.
Like Marlo.
Shit like this actually goes to your fucking brain?
Yeah. If you don't want to listen to your partner, then listen to Lester. He has all the wisdom you need, boy.
Joke of it is, no one gives a fuck about a serial killer. Not unless he's carving up some pretty co-ed or some shit. Some papers put the story in their back pages.
You fucked up.
Yeah. Tell him.
No, I mean, if you want to do it right, a straight-up strangle's not enough. Not if it's some vagrant. Sensationalize it. Give the killer some fucked up fantasy, something bad, real bad. It's got to grip the hearts and minds. Give people what they want from a serial killer.
Lester, what the fuck?
No, you're onto something. I only need a few weeks to pull down Marlo Stanfield. You fly this mess right, you can give it to me. Who gives a damn if we fake a couple of murders that we're never gonna solve, huh? The dead men don't care. No one cares. But if it's gonna get the bosses to throw down enough coin to do police work...
I'm out. I'm out of here.
We gotta give your killer a name.
We have to kill again.
Yeah, I did not see that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could remember what my experience was like. I don't remember being surprised.
Okay.
But as I said, as I said before, I wasn't as aware of really anything coming into this.
I think what got me is like the minute Freeman starts thinking it's a good idea, I started thinking it was a good idea.
Really?
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, well, maybe it's not such a bad maybe this is kind of smart. Like when Freeman starts and he's like, I only need a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, well maybe there is something. It was like when Justin McNulty is trying to do it, I'm like, blah.
Yeah.
And then when Freeman is roped in because he is like the intelligent, thoughtful one, then even me as the viewer is like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe. So yeah, before I was like, oh, this is getting like, you know, into silly territory, but now I'm more bought in.
Okay.
Yeah, on this plot device.
Okay. So there are a couple of things that I'm fascinated to know your perspective on it. So first off, you know, it's almost like a throwaway line. I only need a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So right there, like,
Yeah.
you know, I guess, what do you think about that?
I mean, like, if Freeman says it, then I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Like he knows that they're kind of going back to,
Yeah.
they've taken the guards down.
I think if anybody else
down.
says it, I don't really believe it. But
Yeah.
if Freeman says it, then
Okay.
I think I believe it.
And then his comment about, you know, not worrying about solving murders and the dead men don't care and nobody cares. What do you think about that?
See, it just sounds more reasonable coming out of his mouth. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it shouldn't.
Right.
It should sound just as bad as McNulty wanting to do something about it, but It's so funny.
No,
because he is this, you know.
He's got the smell of wisdom.
Well, he's got the smell of wisdom. He's got the what is the dad thing that Daniels was talking about, like the fatherly wisdom thing that he does. So it just sounds like, yeah, I guess that could be a good idea.
Okay.
Maybe we should do it. And it kind of it's funny to me though that Bunk like sticks to his guns on that.
Yeah. And there's a great moment when when Freeman turns. So, you know, first of all, as you said, like he's like, shit like this actually goes through your head.
Yeah.
And you just think he's getting stonewalled.
I know.
And then when Freeman turns, Bunk goes from one side of Freeman to the other, which I just thought was really a nice little touch.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I like that little moment. And then, I think there's something about the way that he delivers it. He's not emotional.
No.
He's not like frantic
Yes.
the way that McNulty is.
Right.
He's just like, nobody cares.
Yes.
And, so the one thing that I want to credit Alan Sepinwall with saying is this scene, there's kind of two things going on. The first one is just to acknowledge that the paper demonstrates that nobody cares and nobody's going to look into this.
Right.
And so that was kind of validating McNulty's point. It's like, who's going to go back and ask questions?
Yep.
Nobody. And
That's
because
right.
it's not even getting on the front page, you know.
Yes.
So that's one. And then the we have to kill again is a line that Sepinwall called out in particular, just because this is one of the areas where they're mixing their storytelling with some pretty dark humor.
Oh yeah.
And it's just something that the Wire does well.
Yeah.
And so I think in some ways like this is part of where the reaction that people have, I think, about it being, a little more negative is that kind of humor is a pretty tough needle to thread.
Yeah.
And so when you hear the comment that we have to kill again, if you take it literally and you kind of take it seriously, then people are like, oh my God, this is ridiculous, but it's more of a joke. I guess it's more humorous than it is kind of just as to move the story along, as opposed to, they're not obviously not actually going to kill anybody.
Right.
So
exactly.
anyway,
Yes.
so and of course, but the scene itself is just terrific.
It's so great.
So yeah,
it is. I loved it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to move on to No One Lives Forever.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So let me see here. We have Valchek meeting with Carcetti, and he is showing him some crime stats that are actually trending upwards. So he's saying that, Burrell said that, or so you told people that you would give them a double-digit drop, but Burrell's coming back with a 4% bump. And he says, look, here's what you can do. You could use this to get rid of Burrell now. You could fire him. You can put me in as your interim, and that would be good for me because then I can get, I think it was like some kind of a pension bump or something like that, right? And then use that time with me as an interim to line up your boy Daniels, who you want to be the police commissioner, right? So he's got this whole thing all lined up, and Valchek is Carcetti's guy. So even though he doesn't like him, he's like, okay, yep, thank you, Stan. Let me think about that. You do that, Tommy.
Yeah.
And so he leaves, and Wilson's just like, there is no way that Campbell and the ministers are going to put up with Valchek being in there, even for a little while.
Yeah.
And he says too, I mean, what are you going to do with the numbers, right? You asked for clean stats, you cut the budget, the crime is up now. Like, you can't complain about that.
Even on an acting basis, can you imagine Nerys and the ministers dealing with Commissioner Valchek? What are you going to do about the numbers?
Fuck can I do? I cut the department budget to the bone, right? Can't very well complain when the crime rate bumps. Burrell comes in here and owns these. I gotta give him a pass. At least until I can fix his money problems.
Okay. Anything you want to say about that before I move on?
No, it's Valchek. Just, I mean, he's selling out Burrell.
Yeah.
For a pension bump for himself.
Yes.
It reminds me a little bit of Herc.
Oh yeah.
Just preserving his career or, doing whatever he can
Yeah.
just to keep moving up and, that kind of thing. And
I
it's
know.
just, it's amazing how somebody who is just purely self-motivated, how much they can affect.
I know. And just like, does Valchek have a personal reason to burn Burrell? I don't think he has anything. He's just out for himself, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not like it's payback for something.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was moved up from the Eastern, was he in?
The Southeast.
The Southeast, yeah. And into an admin position, which I'm sure is really cushy. And yeah. So he just wants the money.
Yep.
Okay. So Burrell and Rawls come in, and of course, they have a different version of the numbers, right? So it's a version of the numbers that are showing things are not quite as bad as what Valchek showed. And let me see here. Carcetti says, hey, are you sure that these are numbers that you want to stand by? I mean, I would understand. I cut you guys down to the bone if this is what you're telling me. And he says, yeah, you made that clear. You asked for clean numbers. These are clean numbers. So Burrell leaves and he just killed himself.
Yeah.
Right? Because he is standing by numbers they now know are not true because of Valchek. And so they think about leaking the real numbers and then using the fake ones as the leverage they need to push Burrell out of there. So, and they kind of talk about, we replace him with Rawls, and he says, well, Rawls is going to just call and say, I tried to tell him to not do that, and he would have. So,
yeah.
And they say too, like, again, Campbell's and the ministers won't like Rawls in there.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So the plan from here on out, and this is actually where we get the whole, no one lives forever,
Yep.
Burrell's dead.
Yep.
So Carcetti's plan is going to be Rawls could act short term, but Daniels is going to be his pick for commissioner. Yes, 1 year, but 1 year can be enough. We already heard that, like 2 years for Carcetti is enough for him to be governor. You just shine shit and hope it gleams.
Yeah.
And so he tells Wilson, talk to your people over at the Sun, leak Daniel's name to the press and see what the reaction is like. And that is that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's our politics for now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess the interesting thing to me is that he's only been a colonel, right? Colonel Daniels has only been a colonel for a year.
Okay.
And I just can't imagine anybody caring.
Right. I know.
I mean, I guess if you when you learn more about it, you're like, oh, he's only been in the position he's in for 6 months. Yeah, I guess I don't know. But even then I don't know. Like, I don't know how many people are actually caring about how long somebody's in. But maybe the people that are really plugged in, the ministers in particular,
maybe they have a better idea of how much experience you need.
Yeah, pretty much.
Possibly.
So that's interesting. But yeah, so that was the only thing that kind of caught me off guard. Was like, interesting. I don't know that it would have made any difference. But yeah.
Okay. Bury the lead.
Did we?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Did I
No,
miss something?
I think the only thing it was like, were you going to cover like Daniels and Perlman?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because that's what the paper.
Day all day.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'm going to go to bury the lead.
Okay.
So let's talk about what happens at the Sun.
Okay.
So first off, we have Gutierrez waking up early, right, next to her honey, and she is hoping her triple homicide story makes it to the front page. This is where they're like, well, we can buy one. She's like, well, I get it for free. And she goes to the store. They don't have it. It's the same store where McNulty is buying the ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes all the way over to the plant, the factory, whatever, to get the paper. And when she does get it, she finds out that it did not make the front page. It was cut way down and buried.
Yep.
And so she asks Haynes, like, what the hell? And he apologizes and blames just the space that they needed for other things. And this is where Fletcher says, what is the epigraph? It was, basically the fact that the victims were black and where they lived.
Yeah.
That played a role in that story getting axed.
Mm-hmm.
Triple homicide. Damn.
3 people murdered in a house, and it gets 12 inches below the fold. Explain that to me.
There's no explaining it. Advertising's down. We got a smaller news hall. We're not managing it well. We messed up. That's all.
Wrong zip code. They're dead where it doesn't count. If they were white, murdered in Timonium, you'd have had 30 inches off the front.
Would have been my first front pager where I didn't share a byline.
Yeah.
I drove down to the Port Covington plant this morning to get a copy.
You ain't the first to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Yeah. But I mean, does it surprise me? Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's an interesting question about how the calculation, because to be honest with you, I did not follow Gus's kind of, the ways that the decisions were made.
Yeah.
There's some, an editor is making a decision, and it's curious. I guess that's where an editor becomes really valuable, is to be able to look at kind of the landscape of the stories that you have and figure out which ones are going to get the most traction for your user base, which is interesting. So yeah, I was thinking about it being like a location, that's where Fletcher says, but I didn't, it wasn't until you said so that I think you're right, that it's the fact that, probably the majority of the readers of the Baltimore Sun are white.
Right.
And this is a family of African-American
Yeah, exactly.
people, and it just does not matter as much.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yep. I mean, it kind of reminds me, actually, remember when the whole thing was happening with, the woman in Italy.
Oh, Amanda Knox.
Yes. Yeah. So there was a very similar story about a guy who was from here. He was Indian, like from India, but he was in Venezuela, and he was held by the police there on charges and of like working with gangs and selling drugs and having murdered stuff. And it was like all these real crazy charges. Mm-hmm. And it was happening at the same time, got almost no press. He was an American citizen. And so a brown man, in Venezuela. Yeah. So, okay. So later on, we have now.
Yep.
Okay.
Klebano.
Klebano.
Yeah.
Klebano now? I don't know. Try to get everybody together, and it isn't. It's Whiting that gets everybody together, right? To announce the budget cuts and buyouts. Mm-hmm. And I would say that, like at first they're trying to the people who are gathered around are trying to figure out what is happening. They're like, oh, is that we got sold again? Mm-hmm. They're talking about the other papers that have been sold. Then somebody says, oh, maybe we want a Pulitzer. They're like, no, it's too far away. Yeah. And not only that, but look at Whiting's pants. And then this is really bring up, like, if we had won a Pulitzer, then Whiting would be tumescent. Mm-hmm. Engorged.
Yep.
So I think it's really funny too. The guy is just like, I'm a police reporter.
Yeah.
Could you explain this to me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But they say we are losing money. We are losing advertising dollars. We're losing our readers to technology, and the internet and how people are getting free sources of news and opinions. So he starts naming all these other bureaus that are closing. It's very sad. And he says again, that whole, we heard them say before, do more with less, right? So they got to get rid of some people. And, it's just stinks for morale.
Yeah.
And yeah. So they start figuring out who is going to be axed. And sorry, did you want to say anything before I move on to the scene at the bar?
Yeah, so real quick. So first of all, Alan Sepinwall, who is worked at Rolling Stone among, I think, other print publications.
Really?
He said that having worked at a newspaper through several rounds of buyouts and having friends at other papers, where the layoffs aren't even that gentle. I can say the entire scenario played out just right. Layoffs, buyouts go different ways at different papers depending on the strength of the union and the nature of what's happening. Here it was a layoff disguised as a buyout with people like Twig given offers they were strongly discouraged from refusing. Sometimes last ones hired are the first ones fired, but lots of times it's the people who have been around the longest and therefore make the most money, but who also bring the most value to the place, like Twig. And so we didn't know who Omar was, but that was just like, my God.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't imagine that to me was like, not having been there, but like, I have been through layoffs, and it's always a little, there's some discretion where you don't just like, we're laying off people and then they single people out from that announcement.
Right.
Like the worst one I've ever heard, there was some at Amazon recently, but people were notified at home at it happened to be at 3 a.m, which is just awful. But that's a separate thing. But at least you're in the it's done in private. You don't know anything. But a buddy of mine, they had to set up this meeting. Everybody goes in, and it's like 100 people or something like that, and they're like, your jobs are no longer. But everybody's in it together in a weird way. So that I have no idea what that would have been like. When I got laid off, it was just me and my boss and HR in the meeting, and that was it. And so anyway, so for Clemeno to go to O'Mara and just be like, let's go talk. You're like, what the fuck, man?
I know.
Just let the guy get back to his desk. And
Seriously, how about a little bit of time?
Yeah. So anyway, but it is interesting to know that that's how layoffs typically go.
And it's interesting too. I mean, like, a lot of places they used to cut all from the bottom, or they would cut off from the, you have to be selective and they do this here, right? Because they cut Twig, who has a lot of experience and is, getting paid more, but then they bring in Haynes, who is getting worried that he's going to be cut too, but they're like, no, because we need you to train up the next team.
Right.
So you do need some of those people with that level of experience, but they can't have too many of them because they cost too much.
Yeah.
Relax, Gus. We need you here.
We value your dedication. You've done excellent work. We're counting on you to transition the new team. There's still going to be excellent talent out there that needs to be developed.
What kind of team's going to be left?
We're losing good people, but we expect to retain the core of a solid staff.
Doing more with less. That's what we have to contemplate going forward.
More with less, huh?
And of course it is interesting to think about how they make the decision of, well, we can just hire, we can hire a replacement for this guy, easily, more easily than we can this other guy. And it feels somewhat arbitrary. Like, why the police, the police reporter of all things in Baltimore,
I know,
you would think would be protected.
What is the issue with Chicago that they keep bringing up?
That's the parent company. That's where the parent company. I think they were bought by the Chicago Tribune, and so there was the parent company.
Okay, got it. So the Chicago Tribune is like making these decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think there's the other part of it. I should have picked up on it more, but Twig explained that he did get a separate offer to stay on the paper,
right?
But it was just
doing copy,
but it would just would be so much less fulfilling, and so the money for him was just he would rather take the
go write that great American novel.
Yep. So anyway,
okay. So later on, Haynes eats Wilson at a bar, and this is where, of course, Wilson leaks Carcetti's plan. So Norman had mentioned before that he worked at the Baltimore Sun. We knew that when he was campaigning for Carcetti, and he was doing some things, getting some intel for Carcetti given his Baltimore Sun connections. And so they talk about the layoffs, the buyouts, and everything that's going on. And Gus says, what are you selling me tonight? And he tells him then that this Burrell's going to be fired, and they're considering replacements. And that's where he says, well, they might put Rawls in for a little bit of time, but the front runner is Daniels. And they, there's a little bit of background there. And I don't know, do you know why Norman says, I always like photos with my stories? What does that mean? Is it just like extra details or something like that.
I mean, I imagine that when he was a reporter,
Yeah.
it would make it much more likely that he would pay off a leak
Okay.
of a story if he didn't have, like, he had to do less work.
Oh,
so by
okay.
giving him a picture of Daniels, then they already have, he's already got that. They don't have to go and source it.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. Okay.
I saw your text message on my cell phone today. It took me a minute to remember who the hell you were.
Him in that lounge.
When you left, I was still covering the labor beat. We ain't had a labor report around here in 3 years.
Yeah, well, now you the big bad city editor, and I'm whoring myself a politician.
And you got out just at the right time, too.
That bad, huh?
Chicago is killing us. One buyout after another. I can't even begin to think what our next round of guild negotiations is gonna be like. Enough of me crying. What are you selling tonight, dear Lorna?
Carcetti's planning the shit can Burrell. He's talking to people and considering replacements.
City Hall source? Who's the leading candidate?
Rawls, deputy for operations, might have the job for a few months, but there's a front runner from deep in the department, Cedric Daniels.
It's been a while since I've been on the street there, Norman. Who's this Daniels?
Chief of detectives, polished, holds a law degree, brought closure to some high-level cases. His ex-wife got herself elected to the council last go-round. I always like photos with my story.
And this is aimed at who? Huh? Ministers? Nerys? You want to see if they can live with this fella here, right? All right. From one whore to another?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, okay, so then Gus assigns the story. He is going to give it to Templeton, but Templeton doesn't know anything about it. And so instead, it's given to, who is it? Is it? Oh, I lost it.
It's Twig.
It is Twig,
Yeah.
right? Okay, because Twig...
I mean, Twig kind of steps up.
Twig steps up. Twig knows everything, even that he's dating Rhonda Perlman.
Right, exactly.
Like, how did he know that? That's crazy.
Yeah. He's a good reporter.
Yeah. Well, Templeton feels like affronted. He's like, well, I could have found that stuff out. Oh my God, he is so annoying. Yes. And because he's feeling a little like, oh, I gotta show something. I gotta show that I know something. I can do something. He turns in a quote that's supposed to be from Campbell, but it's not really from her.
Right.
But at least that's what we should believe.
Yeah.
That's what we can believe. So he has manufactured something else.
Yes.
Yeah. This has got to get him. This one's got to get him in the butt, right? Please tell me. I'm gonna make that your look right
Just,
now.
I'm
gonna make that.
I'm putting it on predictions.
Prediction. Okay.
This
Yeah.
quote will
Yes.
get him. Okay.
Yes, so the quote is, Carcetti may be holding the knife, but Daniels sharpened it for him. He's been critical of Burrell since the election. And he says, good shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is, kind of crazy that he can just manufacture it.
Yeah.
And even,
And deliver it so convincingly.
Yep.
Yeah. Without even like a little twitch or anything.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Daniels reads that, and he is really worried that it's going to make him look like he betrayed Burrell. And I had totally forgotten about this storyline.
Okay.
And so he and Marla meet up, and this is where we are reminded of some kind of old corruption that Daniels was involved in, some kind of payoff, some stolen money, something. We don't exactly know what it is. We just know that it happened a long time ago, and that Burrell knows what it is and hasn't said anything up to this point.
Yeah.
So I am worried. Yeah. Perlman was like, yes, this is great. I'm so happy for you, Cedric, but only Marla knows why this is a problem.
Yeah.
You have to let Burrell know that this isn't coming from you.
That won't matter. After what he read today, I'm the threat.
Well, then you have to tell him that you won't take the job, that you don't want his chair.
And he believes me.
The alternative is that he goes public with what he knows. Whatever he has about the old days.
We sat on it this long.
Said yourself, he'd rather bury that file than to embarrass the department on his watch. But if it's between you and him surviving, what do you think he'll do then?
How much could even be in that file? An assets investigation, some loose talk. It was so long ago, most of those guys have moved on.
He only needs smoke. He doesn't even need fire to drag you down, to drag me down. Everything that we have worked so hard for. We've already lost enough.
Yeah, and it's an important point. You caught it, and is that Templeton makes up this quote that exposes Daniels.
Exactly.
And now Daniels is worried about this.
Yes.
And Marla is cautioning him on how to avoid any blowback.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, and you know, I think as you talked about, like, Perlman doesn't know about this, right? And that's why she is completely unfazed by the quote. So, yep. And, you know, yeah, and as you said, like she said, you know, Marla says, we've already lost enough.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, meaning
Yeah,
the
and they
cost
kind of
they
hold
kinda lost their
hands.
marriage,
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It's like their relationship that
Yeah.
was sacrificed for
Yep.
this.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go on to Day all day.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I
sorry.
think we might have jumped over Gus and Twig at the bar. Are we going to talk about that?
I jumped over it.
You have anything you want to mention about that? I've just got a couple of little notes about it.
You talk, because I didn't put it in my notes.
Oh, okay. So Gus and Twig are at the bar. It's at it's Twig's last day.
Yes.
And they're talking about why the paper meant something to them.
Yes.
And I like the stories. The stories themselves are so interesting, right? Gus he can't bother his dad while he's reading the paper.
Yep.
And then Twig seeing a guy on the subway and just looking like the smartest guy, you know, in the room or whatever it was. And, you know, and just I think that those little moments are important to kind of recognize. Why are we
For
inspired
sure.
by stuff? It's, you know, it could be some little thing, but it can really have a big effect.
We chose poorly, Gus.
Yeah.
At this rate, there won't be much to call a newspaper in 10 years.
You know, my father worked over at Armco, right? And every morning before he went to work, he'd sit at the table, reading the newspaper with a cup of coffee. And no one could interrupt him for that 15 minutes before he walked out the door. And I remember watching him thinking, what the hell is so important about that damn paper? I want to be part of that. Made me want to be a newspaper man.
One day I was cutting class at Patterson, and there was this man on the downtown bus folding his broadsheet, just so. And the way that man folded that paper and concentrated on reading those pages, it made him look like the smartest son of a bitch on the bus. It was just one of those moments. If ever I depart this vale, and you ever remember me and have thought to please my ghost, forgive some sinner and wink your eye at some homely girl.
Fuck Henry Mencken.
I forgive you, Gus.
So I thought that was interesting. And so the quote from about pleasing my ghost is from H.L. Mencken, who is, I guess, a very famous newspaper person. And I looked it up. I was trying to find the reference, and it's from a book of essays called The Smart Set. And it's from a section of the book called Repetition Generale, which is just like a little set of like small lines, I guess. He and this other guy essentially contributed to this book of essays. But the interesting thing that I found in it was he wrote another essay about World War I. So this book was written or published in 1921. And he wrote about how the U.S., by entering World War I in 1917, they entered the war when the advantage for, it wasn't the Axis and Allies then. I don't remember if there were like names of the two sides at the time, but in any case, it was a 2-to-1 advantage for everybody that wasn't Germany, aligned with Germany, which is interesting. And so the U.S. comes in and makes the advantage 4-to-1. So Germany was already going to lose when the U.S. came in. So they were like neutral, and then they came in, the U.S. did, and then, you know, essentially claimed victory by the end and then plundered Germany and, you know, all the spoils of war and all that stuff. So it's, instead of it being something noble, some noble act, he was calling him out for essentially being, you know, kind of coming at the very end and then just taking all the spoils for, you know, as part of it and acting like we had some big victory, which was really fascinating to me because I don't remember ever thinking, I remember at some point thinking, boy, we waited 3 years to, you know, help out. And then it only lasted 1 more year. Were we responsible for that? Well, we might, you know, the U.S. coming in might have made it a 1-year deal instead of 2 or something like that. But Germany was going to lose kind of regardless.
Okay.
So it was really a fascinating read to hear somebody basically say something that I think would have been seen as really anti-patriotic, because you're basically saying we should not get credit for the, you know, a quote unquote victory in World War I because it was already over by the time we came in. So it's all kind of like a last minute sub, you know, coming in and then just cheering like you were playing the whole game kind of thing. So yeah, so that part was a fascinating thing. So, and the takeaway being a couple of things. Sorry, I'm just going off on a side tangent, but number one is, you know, it makes me wonder about like all of the like some really brilliant things must have been said over the years that are just sitting there for somebody to find. And, you know, you never know when you're going to stumble across it and it's going to make a big impact, which I always, and you know, Henry, and, you know, and I always just really appreciate somebody who's willing to speak honestly, even in the face of what might be like, you know, the popular sentiment, you know, and, you know, if you're able to do it in an articulate way, kind of like what you know, Freeman did. Like he was able to explain the perspective in such a way that it didn't sound hysterical or anything like that, and it made it a lot easier for people to adopt, I guess. So it was just kind of an interesting read, and I certainly recommend reading the whole thing. So The Smart Set, edited by H.L. Mencken. So there you go. Okay. So yeah, and you know, I guess that's all I've got to say about Gus and Twig. But
okay. Oh, poor Twig.
Yeah, poor Twig.
Okay. Let me see here. Let's go to Lede. So we are outside of the grand jury room, whatever you call it. And we've got Sidner, and he is with the grand jury chairman who we've met before.
Yes, exactly.
And so there are some, I think they're witnesses sitting outside there, and they, you know, Sidner's got his newspaper, and they are all waiting to give their depositions, and they are all bored out of their minds. And one guy is just complaining about how much time it is taking. He is wondering if he can go earlier, and the grand jury chairman, I don't know what his name is, but he's like, well, you know, are you somebody important? And he says, well, I'm the vice president of a financial institution. And he's like, yes. So who isn't? It's so great. I just love him being put in his place like that.
Oh yeah.
And anyways, they're told that they have to, you know, lay out their cases very carefully. Perlman calls a witness named Halpert, and that's the guy who he gets called, and that's when the other guy asks if he can go earlier. Okay, so let me see here. Perlman later is taking the deposition from Day Price, who we have not seen for a while. So was it season 1? yes, season 1, they stop him. He has the garbage bag with like $20,000 in it.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. And so that comes back here. Perlman asks him about that, where he was found with Barksdale's drug money. And then she also asks him about these other positions that he holds, which are like, for somebody who's a driver, he has positions that are like high up positions organizing charities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how, she asked him, all right, can you do these 3 jobs? You know, how are you able to hold these? And he cannot answer the questions.
Right.
And so later, Day meets with Clay Davis, and says, you better start thinking of something,
Yeah.
because Davis, because they know everything, and Davis has no clue what he's going to do.
Right.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. I love the Day being brought back.
Yep.
I love that callback to that scene from season 1.
Mhm.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like my patience has paid off. Like my not my patience, my loyalty.
Okay.
Has paid off.
All right.
My attention.
All right.
Yes. But yeah, like, let me see here. So he was a driver. He got a $40,000 salary as an executive director of the West Baltimore Hoops charity, and $30,000 the fundraising director for the Senator's Daycare Initiative. What the heck? Like, how did Clay Davis think that those things, like, I mean, obviously it could have worked it could have worked.
Yeah.
It could have worked.
Well, yeah. So it's interesting to think about. I didn't make this connection till just now, but it's they're dead where it doesn't count. Like, it just, people just don't. There's so many areas of the world that you can just sneak by.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what our representatives have, where what fingers or what pies they have their fingers in. I just assume that they're behaving honorably.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's good
true.
question. So I guess, like, the thing I am not sure about, what do you think? Like, what is your, what's the scam here? That, like, who's benefiting with him having this?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. I have no idea why.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Let me throw this at you, see what you think. So my perspective is that because he's going to have all these jobs, obviously, I don't think he's getting the money. He's not actually getting the money.
Okay.
Clay Davis is getting money under the table or whatever,
Okay.
and the money is being outlaid. So it's basically being donated to these initiatives, and this is where it's going, even though it's all going into Davis's bank account.
Oh, okay.
So that's my read on is that, so this, the 20,000.
So it's not really going to Day. He's just like a front for.
That's my
I mean,
read on.
I'm sure he's getting a grand payoff in some other way, but yeah. Okay.
Does that sound?
That does sound right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just essentially like straight up money laundering, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, Davis, focus, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Needs to think about what to do. So what does he do? He must have tried to pull together something. He meets with Carcetti and Steintorf, and he says, hey, I could smooth over this transition that's going on in the police department for you. This whole thing that, people are going to have a hard time with you getting rid of Burrell. It's not going to go over well, but I can help with this if you help me out with this case. Mm-hmm. And Steintorf is like, meh, no thanks.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had anybody complain about promoting Daniels.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
You making your move on Burrell, and I don't blame you. And the thing is, I can help with that. The ministers, the Rees, Black Legislative Caucus, I can bring them around for you.
Feel free.
All I need is some help with this grand jury nonsense. You go to Bond, you tell Bond that...
I can't help you with that.
The story's been out all day and our phone isn't ringing. The ministers, Nerys, the caucus, they're willing to live with Daniels, apparently.
Thanks anyway.
Thinking you can cut Clay loose, huh? thinking I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, he's just, it's funny because he was asking for essentially the same thing.
Yep.
Well, in a different way from the U.S. attorney.
Yep.
Right, that came in.
Exactly.
He's like, we got to talk to Bond. It's like, well, it's Bond's decision. So.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I'm ready to move on to Civilized Mother-effers.
Okay. Let's do it.
Last. Okay, so we got Stanfield and Snoop coming into Little Johnny's Diner. This is where we have seen the Greeks before. First, Snoop goes in and then to check it out, and then Snoop and Marlo go in, and Marlo gives a suitcase of cash to the guy at the counter who we have seen before. He says, this is, the Russian told me that I could do this, and us for Vondis. And the guy at the counter is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who are they? And he says, we'll come back the next day. But he comes back the next day, and Vondis says, nope, this money is dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I am offended. How dare you? Slap, slap. Just kidding. But yeah, he actually does look really annoyed by the fact that he even thought that he would take money that looks like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. It's money, but it does look dirty. But it's not I think has not gone through laundering, right? Is what we mean. It's not just that it's dirty, but it's he wants it to be not traceable or something. Do you think it's more like that?
Well, he explains it later.
He does, yes. Well, because Marlo asked Joe how to launder money, right?
Well, I mean, but literally, there's laundering is happening kind of in two ways. The one is the actual, or kind of the textbook term laundering of how to get rid of money or make it look legitimate.
Yes.
And then you have actually cleaning money of taking dirty bills and making them look clean.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I missed
I mean,
that.
because the second briefcase,
they're clean.
They're
I know.
all pressed and
Yes.
basically straight out of the bank.
Okay, I did
So-
not realize that they were physically cleaning the money.
Well, I don't think they're physically cleaning. I think that
Okay.
basically Joe is exchanging
The
the
money
wads of cash for I mean, I don't know.
nicer looking monies.
Maybe there is a way
Okay.
to actually
I don't know.
physically clean
Okay.
it. But in any case, that's
I like washing it.
yeah,
at the
exactly.
sink.
Yeah. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, I think there is a way that if I'm trying to remember if Breaking Bad has a thing like that where they
Okay.
throw it into a dryer with poker chips or something like that. But
Oh,
I don't know.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But because it's cotton, so
Okay.
it can be,
Yeah. All right.
So anyway.
Listeners, if you know how to
Yeah.
wash money, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've all had a dollar bill go through the wash.
We have, and it survives it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not iron though, and it looks nice. But anyway, Vondis is speaking metaphorically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So Marlo meets with Prop Joe to talk about laundering money. He says, "I got more money than I know what to do with, and what do I do with it?" And so Prop Joe tells him he's going to help him because they're in the co-op together, and that's what we do. That's part of being in the co-op. Okay. Partlow and Slim Charles are outside. I like seeing those two talking to each other while Prop Joe is introducing Marlo to this contact he has. And, Chris is like, oh, this meeting's taken too long, and says it's because Prop Joe talks too much. And they kind of, it's a little joking about how their bosses are very different. Marlo doesn't talk at all.
Yeah.
Okay, but inside, Prop Joe explains that what he does is he makes donations to this contact, who is like a pastor, for some charitable projects that happen in another country. And the projects happen very, very slowly. And so the majority of the money that gets donated is then laundered through foreign banks and then comes back to the contributor as cashier's check. And so, and he's like, oh, what are you working on now? Oh yeah, there's a hospital coming, right? So all these things are like these slow projects that take a lot of time. And so that it's easy to kind of pass this money off in this way. And the pastor says that there is a base charge of 10 cents on the dollar. And any other money is based on your generosity, basically. So feel free to give more if you would like. Very interesting, I thought. Okay, and I also think that it's so crazy that, like, Marlo is using Joe's help to get to the Greeks under Joe's nose.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
What a sneaky little bastard.
Yep.
Okay.
This shit's taking forever.
Complicated stuff, I suppose.
It's more like Joe make it complicated. That nigga got a thing for conversation. Not like Marlo.
Definitely not.
Now, see, Pastor here, he one of about 3 I like to give money to. Help with his good works and all that.
Good works?
Oh, he down with all kind of missionary work going on down in the islands. You know, building a church for some folk, a schoolhouse for some other folks, all kind of good shit like that. And what else y'all building?
The hospital.
Hospital, yeah. Except they've been building that mess for about 10 years now and nothing ever actually get finished.
How you gonna clean my money?
We got accounts with some of the banks down there. Donations come in as cash. Cashier's checks come out.
Tiny-ass Caribbean island, don't truck with no subpoenas, no court orders, none of that.
You pay 10 on the dollar. Anything beyond that depends on your generosity to save those who want to be saved.
Yeah, I mean, Joe makes the comment of it's not easy civilizing this motherfucker, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, so it is interesting.
It is.
Yeah. So let's go back to the charity
Okay.
thing, because I just did not have a critical eye when I first listened to it, and I don't know that I'm trying to fix that. So, because I'm like, why would he ask for generosity? And so I'm thinking, like, this is a service. My thought is, like, this guy is legitimately trying to help in his country or in his, community.
Right. I think he does, right? Like, there is a service charge, basically, that I think probably does go to 10 cents on the dollar that goes to actually help these things. But if you want to give more, we would love that.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So
this guy is not unethical, kind of, or, he's doing something.
Some money is going there.
Right.
Not all
right.
that money is going there.
Right. And because it was the comment about the generosity. I was just like, wait.
Yeah.
Is that like some metaphor? But no, I think it probably isn't.
No.
He literally is helping his community, and he just does this service.
Right.
And that's how he essentially gets paid.
Yep.
And that's how he's able to, essentially, have these community
and he
programs.
probably gets a lot more money this way than he does from just people tithing in
exactly,
church.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Okay. Oh, fascinating.
Yeah,
okay.
I know it is. Okay, Marlo comes back to the diner the next day, and he meets with Vondis, and Vondis is just like, look, everything runs well through Prop Joe. We like it. It works good for us. And Marlo goes again to Prop Joe for help, and Prop Joe agrees to swap out his money for clean money. Mm-hmm. He charges 20 cents on the dollar for this. So Marlo's going to lose $40,000. So, that's going to happen. But still, like I said, he is doing this under Prop Joe's nose. So he's using Prop Joe to help him basically wheedle Prop Joe out of working with the Greeks anymore. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Prop Joe also tells Stanfield that he would usually charge extra money for exchanging that same day, but he's going to waive that because, again, you're part of the co-op.
Right. Yep.
We do for each other.
Yeah.
And so Marlo says, it's great, let's do it. Good deal. Prop Joe never asks what the money is for, does not have any clue, I don't think anyways, that this is to try to, go around his connection to the Greeks. And Marlo asks Prop Joe to tell the other co-op members also that he is offering a $50,000 reward for information on where Omar is and how to find him, right? He's trying to get him out of retirement. Joe tries to discourage him from going after Omar. It doesn't work. And after Marlo leaves, Joe tells Cheese he is not going to give Marlo any information on Omar because he is glad Omar's gone. He does not want to have him come back.
Yep.
Things are easier with him not there.
Mm-hmm.
Clean bills? You mean laundered, right? I just showed you how.
Nah, he mean clean, like the money straight out the bank and shit. All looking nice.
See, people ain't right. Here you are trying to pay a motherfucker, and all he worried about is what the money look like. Normally, my fee for this would be 20 on a dollar.
40,000 to make it look nice.
You need this back today, too. Might ordinarily charge more. But seeing as how we co-op, no charge.
Oh, speaking of co-op, tell them niggas that got burnt I'm giving away 50 for a line of Omar's people.
His sister, his Mima, some fag he be with, all that shit count, you hear me?
I'd let sleeping dogs lie, son.
I know you would, Joe. I mean, you smart like that. Me? Anyway, pass that off on.
Come back for this here in an hour.
Boy want Omar bad.
Man, I ain't giving him a thing on Omar. Omar been gone. Took a lot of bad history with him, too. Why in the hell would I want that motherfucker back?
Marlo takes his clean money. He goes back to little Johnny's and says, okay, here you go. Give this to Vondas. All right. Fucking cheese. Idiot.
Yep.
Idiot.
Yep.
He does not like Omar. We remember that he's got a chip on his shoulder because of Omar. So he goes and meets with Chris Partlow and he says, hey, I know about one of Omar's connections. It's this guy Butchie. Here's where you can find him. So even though Prop Joe told him not to do it, he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And Butchie, oh my God. So Partlow asks if Prop Joe knows about Butchie, and she says, look, don't worry about that. He doesn't need to know that we're talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes money from Partlow, the $50,000 for the information. What an asshole. And meanwhile, Marlo meets with Prop Joe, collects the information of the bank account that he set up for him.
Mm-hmm.
And Marlo's like, how do I see my money? How do I touch my money?
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't like it being away from him in somebody else's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so Prop Joe's like, well, do you have anything that would prevent you from getting a passport? He does not. So they organize a passport for him so he can go to the Caribbean and get it if he wants to.
Yep.
So weird.
Yeah.
This part is kind of really weird to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me know if you want to step in here at any point.
Let me just double check.
Before
I don't think so.
Before I get
no.
to Butchie.
No, you can keep going. If I want to add something, I'll add it later.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, sorry. So, sorry. I didn't know you were skipping past the bank in Antilles.
Oh, I will come. I was going to come back to that.
Okay. Then keep going.
I'll come back to that
Okay, sure.
because I'm going to go to Butchie. I'm going to go then to Six Flags.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. And then I'll come back to. Yeah.
Okay.
To the Antilles.
All right.
Okay. So Chris and Snoop ambush Butchie at his bar. They kill one of the staff members. Mm-hmm. They wound one of the bodyguards. And they grab Butchie and I don't know if they're still at Butchie's place or if they brought him somewhere else.
I assume they are because the bodyguard's just laying on the floor.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And they are just torturing him.
Mm-hmm.
It is terrible what they are doing. They are shooting him. They are beating him. He's bleeding. He's screaming. I think about the fact that he can't see anything that's happening to him. And it was so stressful to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's
that actor, I'm sorry, my hands are like around my forehead right now. It stresses me out even to talk about it, Chris.
Yeah.
What is the actor's name who plays Butchie?
Let me give me a moment.
Because he is fucking amazing in this scene. How he just wails and howls. I mean, I'm just there with him. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, oh my God. Oh my God, please stop whatever you're doing to him.
Yeah.
It's so convincing.
Yeah.
Wow.
S. Robert Morgan is his name. But yeah,
Woo!
and yes, you're right. His wails are just they are live in my brain. Yeah.
Live in my brain.
Yeah.
Living in my brain.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just and where they shoot him.
Oh God. And he says nothing.
Right.
He says nothing. He doesn't give up anything about Omar.
Yep.
And so eventually they kill him. And then they tell the one bodyguard. Do we know his name? I don't know.
No, it just listed as Butch's bodyguard.
Okay. To make sure that Omar hears about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. No question about it.
Okay. Snoop worries that, they have got Omar coming back now and that it's not going to get them anything in return. Okay.
Yep.
But Chris is just like, this is what Marlo wants.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to have to do it and be careful.
Yeah.
Yep. I like that they're starting to, like, there's a little bit of question now about what Marlo, like from both Michael and from Snoop,
right.
at least, about what Marlo is always asking them to do.
Yeah.
Still ain't got no line on him, man. And now he coming at us.
You gonna change up. Marlo gotta move indoors. The rest of us need to live on the run.
Fucked up plan, you ask me.
Marlo wants Omar. What else you need to know?
The only thing I got to say, though, is that Snoop called out for Omar's Mima.
Yeah, that's true.
For info on Omar's
You're
Mima.
right.
And so, fuck you, Snoop.
Yeah, exactly. You don't
go straight to hell.
You don't call nobody's Mima.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
What were you going to do? What were you going to do with the Mima?
I don't
Snoop,
even wanna
what were you
know.
going to do with the Mima?
Yeah, she would have done some bad stuff.
Yeah. You better fucking say you're going to write her a note.
Yep.
Say you're just a nice lady.
Yep.
And we hope you have a nice life.
Exactly.
And end of story.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ask
Yeah,
to
please.
her to please send a card to Omar
exactly.
and ask him to come. That's all you can do.
That's exactly right. Yes. Yes. Please forward this Christmas card onto Omar. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Let's go to Michael.
Okay.
All right. So the triple homicide has happened. We remember that after that little boy left and he is just like, what the hell? I can't believe they did that. So he is kind of in a dark place and Dookie comes up and says, do you want to talk about it? And he does talk about it a little bit. He just says like everything is so serious now, although he's already murdered.
Right.
I'm just like, this is when it involves a child, that's when it's serious now. Okay. Well, man got to have a code. I guess this is Michael's. So Michael asks Buck about his homework. Dookie says, hey, school's closed. I got teacher meetings coming up. And Dookie says, Bug is free. Yeah, you got to run your corner, but guess what? Six Flags is open again.
You want to talk on it?
One with Chris and him. Set up on this family. Everything's so serious now. Yo, little man, you finish your homework? Cause it's late now and it's only gonna get later if we don't roll home soon.
Ain't no school tomorrow. Teacher meetings. We should do something, Mike.
Got my corner to run. What? What, nigga?
Six Flags be open again.
And I just love the smile on Dookie's face when he tells him this. And Michael starts thinking about it. And they go. And so Michael arranges a car for them. So they figure out it's like a super old car. They're really worried about whether it's going to make there. They like negotiate the price down to get there. And they go to the park and they're like cool boys taking a little brother to the park,
Yep.
and there's these girls that flirt with them, and they're holding hands with them and walking around with them. I just love it so much. It made me so happy, these scenes. I just loved them.
Yep.
And, they're playing games, and the girls are asking them questions and thinking they're cool, and they're kind of looking at each other. Did you not love this?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
God, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like, I don't know.
It could have
they're just
lasted a
to
lot
see them
longer.
actually behaving
Yes.
like kids. Essentially,
Yes,
yeah.
and the Batman, a
Right.
hat on Bug, and
Yep.
I just love that they got a little piece of that.
Yeah.
It made me so happy. But of course, they come back. Michael checks on his corner, and stupid Monk comes up and just like ruins everything. It's
Yep.
just like, oh, you can't go. You didn't tell anybody, and you leave in your corner. And Michael's like, I took care of it, and he's like, well, we told Chris. Ugh,
Yeah.
just mad.
Man,
Mad
Monk,
about that.
What a snitch.
What a snitch.
Yeah.
Come on, Monk.
Yeah.
Fuck you been at, nigga?
Went no school today, so we took Bug to do something. Ain't no thing.
It is when you don't tell no one. Now, how they come down here all day long to make sure your shit is straight? This your corner or what, nigga?
I'm checking now to make sure shit's right at the end of the day. All right? Yo, count right? Yeah, all straight.
Ain't the point, and you know it. Chris already heard about this shit. Nice dolphin, nigga.
Let's go home, man. Deal with this bullshit later.
All right. Okay. Did you want to say anything about Six Flags?
No,
Okay.
I mean, Mark Rober has a whole video on how to win at carnival games.
Oh,
so if
really?
you actually go to the carnival, I recommend taking a look so you know
Okay.
the best way to actually win. So the backspin thing is a good tip. So there's that. And then there was one other. Oh, and then the Monk's comment about "nice dolphin" is one of the most commented lines on the Wire subreddit.
Oh,
so
no
even
way.
though it comes from Monk, who's being a complete asshole, that's a pretty hilarious line. Just
Dolphin. Okay. I'll have to remember that.
okay, yeah,
Okay. Let me see here. So Marlo has this scene is so weird to me.
okay,
Marlo he's got his passport. So he goes to, I guess it's the Antilles.
Yeah.
I had to look that up to
Mhm.
see that that's where he is.
Mhm.
That's where his new account is. And he goes to the bank, I guess, and he has a cashier there who speaks French.
Yep.
He does not.
Right.
And he wants to get his money. So he has this kind of back and forth. And it's just like really awkward because he is awkward.
Oh, yeah.
He is awkward as F. It is so, it is like talking to a serial killer.
right, exactly.
Like it's like talking to a homicidal maniac.
He's not embarrassed at all.
He's not.
but he's also completely ineffective in how he's like.
Yes.
He's not doing anything to try to like bridge the gap. He's
Yes.
just- yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he does the actor does a great job of
Yeah, yeah.
just like pulling off this weirdness.
Right.
You are uncomfortable in that scene.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So in the meantime, though, I love this because you have then Omar and Ronaldo, and they are wherever they are in retirement.
Yep.
And they are at ease, and they, the little kids come up and they want gifts, and they are part of the community, and there is no awkwardness. There's just
Right.
like this oneness with where they are.
Yep.
And they go to their, whatever, their cute little beach bungalow where they live. And then they find out about Butchie's murder.
Right.
And shit's gonna go down.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just, I wonder why Butchie didn't get out too. I don't know. I guess.
I know. Well, yep.
I don't know. Anyway.
I know.
No, it's a good comparison. Yeah. It's really,
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
kind of funny. Like the
They're both in like these tropical places,
Yeah.
and just how they exist in those tropical places is so different.
Yeah, I mean, it's really curious too to think about what, like, so Marlo hands over all the information to the teller.
Yeah.
And then what? Like, does
I
he
know.
go into some back room where he gets to touch his money? I don't understand that
I
part.
don't know either.
So that part is kind of curious. But whatever it was, like, it was intended to satisfy his desire to make sure that his money's where it's supposed to be.
Right.
So
Weird.
Yep, a little bit weird. All right, I think that's the end. Is that the end?
That's the end.
That's the end.
That's
okay.
it.
Wanted to mention just one little thing before we moved on to our categories. The actor who plays Dede,
Yeah.
his name is Donnell Rawlings.
Okay.
And between season 1 and season 5, he was prominently on the Chappelle Show.
Oh, no
so
way.
So if you ever hear the phrase "I'm rich, bitch,"
Yeah.
that's him yelling it in from a skit. He did a million things for that show, so he was really well known. So it's kind of funny how they were able to get him back for this this season. So there's that. But otherwise, yeah, I think I don't think I have anything else to add to that. So let's get into our categories. So this one, I feel like the symbolism is a little bit better this time. Up and Away by the Fifth Dimension is when Jimmy and Alma are at the drugstore.
Okay.
So, this is Jimmy taking off, I guess, onto his next thing.
Okay.
There's a Tu Tragudi Zenitias by Lyra is playing in Little Johnny's.
Okay.
So not surprising that there's a little bit of there's a Greek theme there. There's a song called 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians. Did you know this one?
Yes,
Okay.
I do know that song. That was when McNulty was... What was he doing? It was something when McNulty was like trying to... Was it when he was putting the red ribbon on the guy?
No,
it was when he's hitting on the girl, isn't it?
You got it. Very good.
Yep,
Good
yep,
memory.
yep, I
Good pull,
remember.
detective. Yeah, so he's definitely on the bar. But so in the song 96 Tears, I looked at
Yeah.
the lyrics. I was for some reason motivated. It's just like, it's more about, it's kind of a taunting song where you're going to be crying.
You're going to be
about-
crying
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'm the one who's right and I've been doing everything. Yeah.
Very good.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I
there you
remember
go.
that
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
Okay. And so there's another Greek song called Teleftio Tram by Vicky Moshulio.
Okay.
And that's the second time that Marlo and Chris are at
Okay.
Little Johnny's. Away From Home by Eddie Houston is in the bar when Norman and Gus talk Burrell and Daniels. So that's kind of, I could see that. Away From Home is Gus and Norman both. One more Greek song, Me Me Pismatonis from 1938, interestingly enough, was the last time that this time Spiros and Marlo. So I don't know what that song means, and maybe it's more meaningful, but in any case. Moving along, Booty Body Ready by Sterling Silver Starship is when Marlo and Snoop meet with Joe about getting clean bills. So Booty Body Ready. So
Booty Body Ready.
Yeah, which is exactly what you think the song means.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
This is interesting. Don't Be Afraid by Salim Nurallah is when McNulty and Gutierrez and Alma are meeting at the Al Pacino's. It's a pizza place.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I pulled some lyrics. It says, the pain will cease. You'll be happy then. Let in the light. Let the healing begin is a lyric from there, which I just think is kind of interesting. I'm not sure. Let in the light is what kind of like maybe is what maybe think about it. Red, Gold, and Green by Hugh Mundell is when Mike, Dookie, and Bug are returning from their trip to Six Flags. So it's playing in the car, and the song is about the Jamaican flag because Hugh Mundell was a Jamaican musician.
Okay.
So and I think that just fit the motif of the hack driver.
Okay.
And then finally, When I Die, You Better Second Line by Kermit Ruffins is when Gus and Twig are having drinks at the bar. So the second line is a reference to New Orleans, and the first line is all the musicians, and the second line are people dancing to the music. So the point is, like, don't mourn for me when I die, go and dance and have a good time. It's
Okay,
kind of the
that
thing.
one
So
does
there you
make
go.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Okay.
Okay, so that gets us to our killer cameos. Anybody stand out to you?
Ooh, I mean, the girls at the...
Bingo, got
Okay.
them. Yep.
I liked them.
Sarah Grace Hart and Sophia Wang are their names.
Okay, they were very cute.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them. Who else? I mean, the medical examiner I thought was good.
Oh, okay.
Who
I missed her, yeah.
I mean, the woman that he's boinking on the car.
Right.
I mean, she does a pretty convincing job.
Yeah, her name is Tracy Teague.
Okay, Tracy Teague. Way to go, Tracy
Yep.
Teague. I don't know. What do you think? Anybody else?
So I had a couple.
Okay.
Christian King Lewis she was the medical examiner.
Okay.
So for whatever that's worth. I had the hack driver. His name was Bay C. Harrell. I love that. Don't be fretting on the ride. I like that comment. And then finally I had, hang on, I lost my notes there for a second. I had the bank teller. I like the bank teller.
Oh, yeah, the bank teller is good too.
And her name is Sarah Desage. And this is her only acting credit as far as I can tell.
Oh, really?
She's a photographer now. I looked her up.
Wow.
So, yeah, she's got all kinds of.
She did
Her
a nice
Instagram
job.
is quite.
Yeah.
So she's got a lot of good Instagram photos. So for whatever that's worth.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, I liked her. What do you think that she was showing some attraction to Marlo, or was
No.
that coming through? No. Okay. She was just being professional.
Yeah, I think she was just being professional.
Okay.
But I did wonder that a little bit.
Okay.
If, like, he was going to think that she was.
Right. Yeah, she was being very.
Acting
She's beautiful and also being
Yes.
very polite. So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Just being super French.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the funny thing is that I've been. Have you been to France?
No, I've never been.
Okay. Well, I've been to
Yes.
France.
Yes, you have.
And I will tell you that I did my best French accent when I went into a boulangerie,
Okay.
a bakery, and that woman could not have hated me more.
Yeah.
I was really trying. So the fact that the bank teller was being nice to Marlo, I feel like maybe that's like you might as well just be like she's inviting her back to her place.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's different in French Antilles, but anyway. Okay.
Yeah, it might be.
Okay, well, let's get to Chris Mansplains for the next 20 minutes.
Okay.
But what did you have any life lessons that you wanted to?
Let's see here. Don't stage murder.
Don't stage murder.
No.
Okay. That's a good one. It's a good one.
Mine is like Carpe Diem. So
Oh.
I love the Six Flags has reopened.
Okay.
Bug
Ooh, I
has
like
the
that.
day
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's good.
I just, that just sometimes somebody just suggests something like that. You just got to all right, let's just do it and just make the most of a day like that.
I agree.
Yeah, that's
good
mine.
call.
That's mine.
I had one that was connected to that.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel like but I think yours is kind of leads to the next one, which is I think a lot of, especially as you get older, you're like, oh, whatever it is, responsibilities will get in the way. And I'm just like, there's no shame in feeling like a kid. Go, if I'm not saying be irresponsible, I'm not saying be immature, but go do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, even as an adult,
Yes.
go play.
Go do some stupid
Go,
shit.
I don't know.
Golly's
Yeah.
sake,
Yeah, go play miniature golf, and
Yep.
just have fun.
I know.
Don't be serious all the time.
Yes.
But I love that Carpe Diem for sure.
Yeah.
And when the opportunity arises, go take advantage of the day
Yeah.
for sure. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, well, I will continue on then.
Okay.
But thank you for that one. That's a good one. Carpe Diem, friends.
Carpe
All right.
Diem.
Twig, go out with honor.
Yeah.
Even when you get fired,
Yep.
going out, how, the line from the West Wing and others is, when the fall is all how, as if it matters how a man falls down, when the fall is all that's left, it matters a great deal.
Mm.
So Twig going out with honor is how people will remember him.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's worth us all taking with us. Like, if we're going to go out, with our best, impression, leaving our best impression. I just feel like it's a really important, we can end up feeling bitter or angry about how we lose a job. And I know that I've done that. And if you fight through it to be honorable and do your duty until the last possible minute, people will remember that.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, you will feel good
Right.
later on.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go out and just be like, fuck you guys, I don't give a
No.
shit, then you will feel worse as time goes on and you have healed.
Yep.
You'll be like, God, I wish I had handled that better.
Yep.
So you go.
Yeah. Better
So-
to be able to look back and be like, yeah,
Yep.
I did that the right way.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then by contrast, Templeton, he is like, I wanted this thing and I didn't get it. So now I'm just going to be bitter and I'm going to fake it or whatever. The job does, as much as I like to side with the worker, the job doesn't owe you anything. You are not, nobody's got a gun to your head to do a job. So whatever job you are doing, there are responsibilities for it. And if you don't like it, you are the one who chose to do it.
Yeah.
And you have the choice to go look for a different job.
Yeah.
Right. And so Templeton doesn't do the work that he's
Right.
assigned. He's trying to skirt the rules.
He is.
And that's,
He wants to look good.
yeah. And so just a reminder, that's your job. That's what the job, it's what Freeman says. This is the job. What did you think you were signing up for?
Yeah.
Less important, Gus and Norman, keep your connections. Always good idea to keep your
Yes.
connections.
Yep.
They never know how they're going to pay off.
We have said before, never burn a bridge.
Exactly.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is related to that.
Yep.
Keep your connections.
Yep. And then Burrell, I probably have said this before, but when he comes in with the fake stats or how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yep.
So if you are going to be if you're going to essentially lie, fudge data here, you're going to do it somewhere else. Like that's the way it goes. That you just will.
He gave him an out.
And he gave him an out.
He said, I know that I cut your department to the bone.
Right.
I would understand.
Yes.
And he's still stuck by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, come on.
Yeah. So there's that too. So, there are going to be uncomfortable conversations. I have this all the time. The project I'm working on now, it's taking forever. We've blown past multiple deadlines, and you're working as hard as you can. And I just have to keep going back to my boss and being like, I don't think this is going to, it looks like we're going to blow past it again because, I've only got one guy working on it right now. And what can I do? So, and, as long as you're ahead of the game on it, it's, you end up not doing too badly, but it is a really hard lesson to learn. So, Burrell should be old enough to know better.
For sure.
All right. Last one. Really serious though. Everybody counts. Everybody.
Okay.
Where they're dead, where it doesn't count. No, everybody counts.
Okay.
And I was, it's a complete tangent, and yet it's such a good story. I wanted to share it. I learned a story this week about Magic Johnson when he was diagnosed with HIV in 1991. He retired immediately from the game because at the time, the understanding about HIV was really, really limited, right? And so the complication was that the NBA season had already started and voting for the All-Star game had already started.
Yeah.
And he was on the All-Star ballot. So he is getting votes. And as it turns out, he got the most votes when all the voting was counted. So he wanted to stay in game shape.
Okay.
And so before games, he would go out and he would just shoot around and, do whatever he could to try to stay in shape.
Okay.
But nobody would play with him because, again, nobody knew how HIV was transmitted.
Right.
And so there was a player on the Miami Heat. His name is Ronnie Cycli. He was pretty well known, but he was a good player. And it was, I forget the date, but it was later on, Magic Johnson is playing. Ronnie Cycli is injured and not playing in that particular game, but he did some warm-ups and stuff, but he was also good enough. He was not injured enough that he couldn't play with somebody. Okay. So before they're in the LA Forum and they're both on the court, and Ronnie Cycli just decides, you know what? Hey, I'm going to go down and I'm going to challenge Magic Johnson to a game of one-on-one.
Okay.
And so they're playing and Magic says to Ronnie, hey, I'm not going to go easy. I'm going to back you down. I'm going to because it turns out as they kept playing, other players came out and saw Ronnie Cycli playing and making contact with Magic Johnson and playing with no fear, right? Of anything happening. Now, as it turns out, Ronnie Cycli had a cousin who died of AIDS. He had not died of AIDS at this point, but he was already sick because he got AIDS from a blood transfusion because at the time, and because of that, Ronnie knew all of the ways that it could get transmitted. So he knew there was no danger or just minimal danger in playing basketball against somebody who's HIV positive. And so, as it turns out, that this gesture then sent ripple effects to upward in the NBA, essentially to almost force everybody to say, okay, we have to figure out how to accommodate Magic Johnson playing in the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. How are we going to do this? And so it just put all these wheels in motion. And it ended up, I think, I hope I'm not misinterpreting. I'm sorry, this all came from this podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. I think it actually just exploded the amount of knowledge about HIV, not just in the NBA, but everywhere. Whereas before it was confined largely to the gay community, it now, because Magic Johnson, a heterosexual, was infected, now it became just this much, much bigger thing. And this gesture and Magic Johnson becoming his advocate and being supported by the NBA, it became a much bigger, the effect was essentially worldwide and had this remarkable effect. And I bring all this up because to bring it back to Ronnie Cycli's cousin. So Ronnie Cycli obviously was the catalyst, but it was his cousin that was that had the effect on him to reach out to Magic and to make him feel less alone. And this gesture had this remarkable effect worldwide. And I bring all this up to say, like, that Ronnie Cycli's cousin, that's how Ronnie Cycli made his cousin matter. Okay. Not that he didn't matter before, but the effect of that his cousin had on the world through Ronnie Cycli was really remarkable. And I feel like I'm bringing this all around to say, you know, when people leave us, it's incumbent on us to demonstrate how they matter to us and how they count. And so even though they might not get a headline, they might not, you know, whatever, the effect that they have on us is what we want to carry forward to make sure that they count. And because you just never know how what you carry forward, how it has an effect on somebody somehow, and it becomes something much bigger than you ever expected. So that's it. That was a long story, but I loved that story. I loved hearing it. It was a really brave gesture, and I loved how it connected back to somebody who Magic Johnson never met, and yet that's where it ended up going.
That's
I just think that's really, really neat. So,
what were you connecting that to in The Wire, though?
Well, just so
I lost that.
No, sorry. So
Okay.
so Fletcher says they're dead where it doesn't count.
Yes. Oh,
and I'm
see.
saying, like, everybody counts.
Everybody
like everybody,
counts.
even
Got
if
you.
like
Okay, yes.
you know, and
Right.
So that's it.
Like like even people that somebody else might count as insignificant have an important role. Okay.
Precisely,
Yeah, I got you.
precisely.
I got
And
you.
so
Okay.
and you know,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And you know, and even like, for example, sorry, I've already talked a lot, but the point is, like, if you learn about somebody that dies, like a homeless person that dies, right, for example, and you think, God, that shouldn't have happened. What can I do to prevent that from happening again? That is you making their life count.
Right.
Because you're doing something with it, even if you never met the person.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. And everybody counts.
Yep.
And so if we, and you know, just by contrast, if we turn a blind eye, you know, guy in Venezuela, as you mentioned, like, okay, it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
No, it does. It all
does,
matters. And so it's worth each of us taking the time. I mean, we're all busy and we all got, you know, a million responsibilities, and I understand. And but when we can do these little gestures, you never know when it's going to make a difference.
That's true.
So 15 minutes later, and you know, again, I'm telling this to Ellie. She understands all this stuff already,
I do.
and she demonstrates.
Let's care.
it on a
Let's
daily
do
basis.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess not a lot about like the episode itself in terms of holding up. I don't think.
I mean, just this. I mean, the stuff with the newspaper,
like
the news is like 100%. That's still the case.
Yeah.
Our newspaper, they are still like, given how long ago this was and starting, the fact that they even exist in any way, shape, or form now is like a miracle.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, you're right. It is, and you're 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just the solution to it is tricky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, yes, as you said, it does hold up really well. Okay, so just as a reminder, we're going to carry forward some of your predictions.
Yep, please.
You got the Bubbles will go up the stairs.
Yes.
Bubbles will speak.
Yes.
But we're looking for other ways to step up.
Yep.
Davis is going to turn.
Yep.
All right, and then that's where that is.
I feel like Davis is like, they're going to use him to give up something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know what though, but yeah.
That's all right. I mean, you know, even the fact that you're going in that direction, I feel like that's.
He's so desperate to do anything to save his ass.
Yeah.
That makes me think that.
Okay. All right. Well, I will just add that. Just roll those forward.
Okay.
You also have the quote from Templeton.
Yeah.
Will bite him in the butt.
I think so.
Okay. Anything else?
I think Daniels is going to go to Burrell, and Burrell is going to say, if you take that position, I'm going to tell what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think, let me see here. So Lester and Jimmy are going to stage another murder.
Okay.
And let me see here. I think Omar comes back and he's going to start staking out. You know, I think he's going to go actually for Chris first. And then he's going to go for Marlo.
Okay.
All right, that's what I got.
That's okay. Good stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that is. I mean, we're at 8 now, or 7. 4 carried forward, I guess, for whatever that's worth. But still, you got the 3 big storylines. I mean, unless there's anything else with the newspaper, I guess. You already got the quote from Templeton. So unless there's anything else.
I mean, I don't think that yet the newspaper will pick up the string of this fake serial killer quite yet.
Okay.
But they will, and I think it's going to be Alma's story.
Okay. Paper will not.
Unless Templeton somehow worms his way into it.
Okay.
He would try. Okay, let's make that a prediction.
What's that?
Alma is going to take that she'll eventually get the serial killer case.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow Templeton will weasel his way into it.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right, well, that is very specific. Okay.
I know. It's
good stuff. You never know. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, great. Those are all I'm very excited to see where those go.
Me too.
I'm trying not to give anything away, listener, for those who have watched it before. Okay, but in any case, we will be back next week to cover Season 5, Episode 4, Transitions. But until then, Ellie, as always, thank you for such a terrific episode.
Thanks, Chris.
And we will see you all next week.
Okay, bye, everybody.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time...
Focus, motherfucker! Focus!